Welcome to The Empowered Effect. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share with a friend. This episode is going to blow your mind. Oh my gosh, I have some incredible conversations with amazing women, but this one in particular blew my mind. It made me cry and made me question so much about my own life. You have to listen to this episode. Enjoy. Hi Lyanne, welcome to my sofa. Thank you for joining me this morning. So nice to have you. This morning, we're going to discuss who you are. I've never met you before, and I'm so excited for my audience to hear your incredible story. I know a little snippet of it because before someone comes on the podcast, we ask them to give us the reasons why they think their story is empowering. And I believe that your story is incredible. So tell me who you are, Lyanne.
Firstly, thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're so welcome.
I think it's really great what you're doing, and that you're doing it for all females and not just celebrity females, because I think the continuous struggle that people go through if they're not, having that place of privilege is a lot trickier, and that means there's a lot more lessons to come from it.
Absolutely, absolutely. The reason I chose this podcast is because I have had my own struggles and I often felt like the underdog, and that sometimes society wouldn't listen to me or notice me. So being able to speak to the normal woman about her struggles means that I then empower the rest of women that feel like us. This space to talk honestly and truthfully, and I don't know what you call it when I give someone space that often doesn't get it, but that's what I wanted here. So yeah, you're so welcome.
Okay,
so tell me
where to start. Yeah, I often say, I'll put it this way, most of my friends and most people I talk to say to me, oh my god, if you had your own reality TV show, it would be a hit. You need to write 10 books, the things that you've been through. Obviously, I can't fit them all into one podcast, but the most recent situation is the discovery that I had a brain aneurysm.
Okay.
Which was September last year.
Okay. And maybe you could explain to my audience what a brain aneurysm is, because when people come to my sofa, I often don't know about all the various things that they're talking about. So I go in like anybody else that's listening. I know nothing about brain aneurysm. So maybe if you tell everyone what a brain aneurysm is.
Mm-hmm. So different arteries that you have in your body. So mine was on my carotid. So you have carotid arteries going up your neck at the front here, and vertebral arteries at the back. Mm-hmm. So mine was on my carotid artery. And if you think of an artery like a long straw, and it should just be smooth on both edges, if there's no plaque or issues or anything like that, or aneurysms. If you have an aneurysm, basically there's a bulge coming out. So could be high blood pressure, could be genetic, could be lots of different things, but basically a part of the wall has become weak and it's created a bubble shape or a sac shape, lots of different shapes, which then means that that area is now really weak. It's like an elastic band that's overly stretched.
Okay.
Depending where they are and what they are, some can be riskier than others. Mine was one of the ones that only sort of 3% of people have.
Oh, wow.
It was abrupt in my optical nerve, and it was also right on a corner on a bend, so it was weaker.
Okay. What does that mean? What do you suffer with as a result of a brain aneurysm?
Mm-hmm. So you can have symptoms so my symptoms were pain up into my neck. I had vertigo every time I lied down for a year and a half. If I would lean forward, I'd pop back up, and the vision would go a little bit.
Oh.
Extreme fatigue, because the blood flow, instead of it just being able to come, from my heart up to everywhere in my head, it had to then loop through that section, so it would be reduced sometimes.
Okay.
So then you have a problem that the weaker it gets, and the more maybe that your blood pressure would get high, maybe from an exercise or something along those lines. you have a risk of rupture,
Oh, wow.
which is a hemorrhage and very fatal.
Okay.
Very fatal,
Okay.
if not life-changing,
Okay.
and parts of the brain die.
And how did you find it?
Odd story.
Yeah. How does anyone know that they've got it apart from these little niggly signs? I guess you would go to a GP. Did you go to a GP?
Yeah, so I had the signs and symptoms, but to be honest, so in 2023 I actually had a vertebral artery dissection, which is the two main arteries in your back. I had a tear in one of those.
Okay.
That could have also been fatal. I've had a few
Oh, wow.
few health issues.
You're meant to live.
I think
You're meant to live.
there's something I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, you need to tell your story. You're meant to live.
So off the back of that, I did have lots of scans to check that I hadn't had a stroke and whatnot. And it turns out that this aneurysm has been there since that vertebral artery dissection, but nobody picked it up.
Oh, wow.
So I had actually done over a year, been on a plane, been running, been doing lots of things that could have, they call it a ticking time bomb.
Okay.
Could have made it erupt, but it didn't. So it's really funny, I think, the way that it ended up being found. I was rushing. So my normal full-time job, when I'm not in recovery from something, is hotel duty manager.
Okay.
And we had a big event on. I'm a single mum, so I took my children, picked my children up from school, and then brought them back to home. So my son's 16, so he was going to be there with my daughter. And then I was going back to the event, just rushing, just mum life, crazy mum life.
Yes, don't we know it? Yeah.
And someone in the meantime, for me popping in, dropping the kids off and coming back out, had parked opposite my drive. The sun was sort of in a weird place. For whatever reason, I reversed into him.
Yes.
Luckily, no one was in the car.
Yeah.
And technically, no one was hurt.
I've done it twice. Reversed out of my drive. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I feel better.
No, I've done it twice. Done it twice.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah.
But no one was injured.
No one was injured. No
Okay,
one was
good.
in the car.
That's fine. We can take that. We've got
Yeah,
insurance. It's all okay.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
Anyway, some children saw me and said, "Oh, I know who that is." It turns out he's a professional footballer.
Oh no! Oh gosh!
Brand new, beautiful Mercedes as well. So, oh my god!
No.
Anyway, we exchanged details and everything was fine. And then I started to worry, thinking, I feel like all of those symptoms have got worse. My neck's worse. Everything's a bit worse. I'm just going to leave it. I'm too busy.
Yes.
I've got this event tonight. I've got an event with my friend on Sunday. I'm just, it's too busy.
Yeah.
But my symptoms got considerably worse over the weekend. So then on Monday, I called the GP.
Yeah.
It said to work, I'm just going to be 10 minutes. They're very nice about letting you do what you need to do.
Oh, that's nice.
Popped to the GP, but because of my history, they were like, you're going to A&E.
Oh, wow. A&E immediately?
Yeah.
Did they spot
with a referral
it straight
letter.
away?
It's funny because I've never seen this GP. I'm not sure if she was, just here for the day. I don't know, but she really sort
That's
of...
an instinct.
She had a feeling about it.
There is something to be said about human instincts.
Oh, yes.
You've got to go with it. When we talk about our guts, there's something to be said about just having a knowing.
Yeah. And to be honest, I think I knew something was wrong the whole time. And that's why I was putting it off, because I knew it was potentially going to drop a bomb on my life. And I wasn't ready for that at that time.
Okay, I understand.
But yeah, originally, it then took about a week, all in all. Originally in hospital, I was misdiagnosed with an aortic dissection.
Okay.
And told to sit down and don't move, because if that goes at any time, you'll die and we're going to do surgery. Please ring your mum to come in.
Isn't aortic part of the heart?
So it's another a big vessel down here, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Again, another a really fatal.
Yes,
bad
I
situation to have.
I know about that.
Yeah.
It runs in my family, but yes.
Really, yeah. Anyway, I was then let out. Then I was called back a couple of days later and said, actually, someone reviewed your scan. You've got a brain aneurysm, but it's nothing to worry about right now. We don't think the symptoms are related. You'll get a neurology appointment in a couple of months. But still, being told you've got a ticking time bomb in your head, there's life before and then there's everything
Life
after.
Yeah.
And then again, I got called back. Actually, no, it's serious. Come in.
Oh my gosh. I've been in that situation quite a few times where you're waiting on results. How do you deal with that? How have you dealt with that? I find that stage really difficult.
Yeah.
Is the waiting worse than the knowing?
I'm someone that I believe that knowledge is power.
Yes.
And if you know of something and you know everything you can about something, that kills anxiety.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And only someone with anxiety understands that.
Yes.
You are right.
And then also the understanding that, oh, I actually can't control what's going to happen next.
Yes.
All I can control is my mindset. It's inevitable that all of us are going to suffer pain, physically, emotionally, throughout your life, but you can choose how long you suffer.
Yes.
And I didn't want to suffer. So
yes.
I planned a party. Called it a Just Because party for all my friends and family.
Amazing.
Just because you don't see each other enough and I want to see all of you before. I got some charity pots for Women's Aid and the Brain Charity. And that was part of my focus.
Have you been diagnosed at this point?
Yeah.
You have? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was part of my focus. But that space in between, so just before I finally found out that it was serious and it was about to happen, carry on with the things that I was already doing. I'm so thankful that I'd already become someone that did my morning affirmations.
Yes.
I have boards all around my house with quotes that help me get through things. I pull a card every morning that's a positive card.
Amazing.
I don't watch things on telly that I find are dramatic or distressing.
Triggering.
I watch podcasts. I watched an operation of someone that had the same brain aneurysm in case I had it. I took notes.
It's knowledge, isn't it?
Yeah.
It eases the anxiety. You're absolutely right, because I do the same. So the affirmations, meditation. Do you exercise, like yoga or walks or anything like that to help with it?
Yeah, so I walk. So since I've done the neck situation, I wasn't able to. I actually used to be a personal trainer, but I'm not able to lift weights and do that kind of thing anymore. So I walk every day.
Okay.
And I have a playlist of positive songs and different frequencies that are supposed to be calming. So I use that towards my mood.
Yeah. And so you got diagnosed. You've had your party.
I didn't.
You didn't have your party?
No.
Why?
So they told me it would be a month between me. I went to hospital for a week. Then they decided, actually, we're not doing the operation yet. You need genetic testing.
Oh.
You've had the vertebral artery dissecting. You've got a brain aneurysm. I had a mini stroke after my daughter 12 years ago.
Okay.
We need to see if there's something going on with you that means if we're going to open your head, we know what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
So I had to wait for genetic testing. So I was back out for a month. They told me it'd be around a month, but it all happened quite quickly.
Okay.
And then I had the testing and had a call to say, you're coming in and having it in 2 days.
Oh, wow.
And then it was like...
So, operation.
And the party would have been 2 days after that.
Oh, right. Okay, so no. Oh, that's a shame. Did you ever have the party?
I planned to, but technically
so
I'm still not finished with my journey.
Okay.
I'm still going to hospital every Monday and could have another operation.
You've got another... So tell me about the operation. Tell me more about that process, what helped you prepare, maybe the recovery period from that. I'm guessing you're still recovering.
Yeah, so I should have only had one operation.
Okay.
But I've ended up having 3 since October.
Okay.
Because of a wound infection.
Okay.
At the moment, there is still a possibility that I need to have a bit of my skull removed permanently and replaced with a titanium prosthetic, but that can't be done for 3 to 6 months down the line.
Okay.
And during those 3 to 6 months, life will be very different. I will need to wear a helmet whenever I'm not just sat still in my own house. I will need to potentially have balance issues. There could be lots of situations. So I'm hoping that's not the case.
Okay, so we don't know if that's the case.
I don't know yet.
Okay.
But before that, so the original operation, there are normally 3 types of ways. You can have a stent put in, which you often hear with people with artery problems in the heart, which would basically strengthen that wall so that if anything did happen, it's got a nice stable side to it. you can have coiling, so they actually feed up through your veins and put titanium coils into the aneurysm. It just looks like lots of sort of spirals of metal to effectively block it off.
Okay.
And then the third way is clipping. So at the moment, I've actually got a titanium clip in my brain.
Oh, wow.
I've got a picture of it. It's really cool.
Wow.
I'll show you after.
Are you a robot?
Kind of. A cool one.
Yeah, you're a cool one. Yeah.
So I had from here to here cut, and then they peel your face back, and then they drill into your skull.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I can't even see it.
This is sort of the wound debut. Normally I have a dressing on it all the time, just because I'm just worried of anything hitting it, because there's still a tiny section that's not completely gone.
Okay.
But I want it out now. I'm done with it. I have my little baby hairs coming back. Yes. They need space to grow. They need space to breathe.
Yes.
So it has been difficult to come to terms with this scar and the fact that I will potentially have these sort of bulb patches forever, and a neck scar because they also had to open my neck. So with the clipping, once they drill a section of skull about this big out, and they go in through the brain.
Yes.
And if you imagine that this is the artery, and this ring is very handy actually. This is my aneurysm.
Okay.
They've put a clip on it, so there's no blood flow that can get to it.
Okay.
And nothing can go. It can't do anything. It should just completely seal it off, which, as far as I know, it has.
Okay. So are you having further operations, or is this at? Oh, you still don't know?
So the problem with the skull that has been taken out and then put back in with metal plates, the first time around when there was an infection from the operation, they're not sure if that infiltrated into that bit of effectively dead skull.
Okay.
So I had lots of intravenous antibiotics and wound care for a little while. It keeps coming back. And the last operation I had, when I went to sleep, we thought they were taking the skull. But the head of the surgeon sort of said, he thinks it's okay from what he's seen. Let's give it one more try and change the antibiotics and whatnot. So they've done that.
Okay.
But that was the 10th of February.
Okay.
It's still not fully healed and some of my symptoms are still there. So I have to go on every Monday, and every Monday we sort of get you're not out of the woods yet.
Okay.
But it's looking a bit better than last week, so I'll see you again on Monday.
Okay. Okay, so you're living in this wait for hope. So I think what could be empowering to my audience is, you've spoken about affirmations. How do you get through knowing that you have this ticking time bomb, this condition, and how do you cope? You said you're a single mum. How many children?
2 children.
2 children. Yeah. How do you juggle that? How do you balance these things, and you're smiling today, like you are such a hero already, like how do you find the strength? Did you not have the strength and you're finding it now? Tell me about that journey, your mental journey, because we have physical symptoms, but really that's just such a small part of it. It's all mental, isn't it? So tell me about your mental journey, really, and how you've come to be on my sofa, be brave enough to talk about it, and smile. I laugh.
You have to find the fun in things.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Honestly, it's incredible. So speak about it, do it mentally.
Yeah. So to be honest, if this had happened in 2023, I probably wouldn't have done as well. The relationship that I was in was not a great relationship, and all I'll say on that is it was a 20-year relationship, and it was a lot better for me to leave with the children with a kettle toaster and Hoover than it was for me to stay there, and the unknown was a lot more exciting. So I did that, and my journey really with healing myself and learning how to deal with trauma came from that.
Yes.
I have therapy every 2 weeks. I read constantly, I love books on psychology and philosophy and why we do what we
Me
do.
too. Is the therapy helping you?
Yeah, do you know what do you know what's actually really helpful? It's a man, and I saw him with my ex, and then when I saw him after, he was like,
Okay.
thank you for coming. You
Okay.
need to do this.
Okay.
But he doesn't just talk to you and let you talk back. He stops you in your feelings, and this is the game changer. He stops you in your feelings.
Yeah.
Stop explaining to me what's going on. Tell me what you can feel. Is your throat climbing
lovely.
up? Is your chest fluttering?
Oh.
What's the physical
Where is it
symptoms that have been
manifesting?
stored from what you're
Yes.
talking about?
Yes.
Because I can notice that you're doing this with your hands, or you keep twitching, or you've gone like this. And that's the game changer, because as soon as he would do that originally, I would clam up and think, oh, you're getting too close now. Talking about what's going on inside.
Yes.
That's actually the whole point of
Yes.
it. And the long and
He's
short of it is you
allowing
need
it to come out.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you have to. It's not, being resilient isn't saying no to feelings. That's actually a trauma response, ignoring everything and becoming cold. Being resilient is knowing that what you actually need to do is give them the spotlight. If you feel like you need to cry and scream, you need to do that, and then give it a second, and you will feel everything sort of dissipate, and then do something creative. That's what works for me.
That's a great mechanism. What is that? A toolbox?
Yeah.
I don't know what you call it. I call things toolboxes that I can refer to. A toolbox for me is kind of listening to positive talk, maybe from Tony Robbins or Mel
Love that.
Robbins, or just someone positive. Joe Dispenza. Did I say that right? Dispenza, not Dispenza.
I do that as well.
Okay, so cry, have a release, and then do something creative.
Yeah.
Incredible. Okay.
I tend to go, oh, that would be a good thing to write about. The anxious part of the brain
Yes.
can't work at the same time as the creative part.
Oh.
They actually cancel each other out. That was, I can't remember exactly who it was that I saw that from. If you're struggling and you're having a moment of anxiety,
Yes.
pick up a pencil, pick up a pen, pick up a piece of paper, maybe use your opposite hand and try and write your name backwards. Draw a picture of anything you see in the room that you're in. And once you start doing that, the anxious part of the brain cannot work at the same time as a creative part. That's a neurological fact. So whatever you need to do something creative. It really works, really works.
I'm going to try that.
Definitely, yeah.
I picked up a board this morning and I decided that I'm going to paint. I've been looking at lots of artists' incredible work lately, and I'm definitely going to bring out the paintbrushes. You've inspired me this morning.
Love that.
I think a big part of this journey we haven't spoken about is your children. How do you even cope with this and remain a mum? How? I'd like to know that, because I don't even know. I can't comprehend it.
The thing is, it instantly makes you, well, for me, super grateful over everything.
Yes.
I wasn't really a shouty mum before, but now if my 16-year-old wants a bit of toast at 11 o'clock at night, I'm just so pleased that I can get up and I can make him that bit of toast, because I'm here and I can, and that's not going to last forever, because everything is, not permanent. So the level of gratitude that I've got, and the little bit in the back of my mind going, someone saved you and kept you here, you've got a job to do, and aren't you lucky you're still here? This could be the last time you make him toast, because something could happen, means I'll get up and I'll make that toast with bells on it, and I'll spin around the room and dance while I do it. And that's just how you get through everything. I'll go for a dog walk and I'll stop and just watch these two birds in a tree, and I probably look absolutely deranged to the average Joe walking past, but I'm just standing there going, oh wow, look at those birds, and that's so cute. I can still see, because I could have been left without my vision, without my hearing, without this, without that, and I do have some neurological issues, but they tend to come in the evening once I get tired. Aren't I lucky?
That is such a humbling thought. And I think it's something we forget. It's something I forget every day. We all do. We all forget that life is so flippant. Oh my gosh, you made me cry. It's so true. Fuck. That is such a humbling thought, you know, like we moan about teenagers and what they do, but you're right. You're right. We shouldn't take a moment for granted whether we have got something that's threatening our lives. How do you know we don't go out and get run over by a bus?
Literally.
And you are busy shouting for stupid reasons. I'll clean the house. I'll make sure that, you know, you're doing stupid things. I find it weird because I got a kid somewhere.
No. You actually haven't disrupted your makeup at all as well.
We don't want to disrupt
Good
the
makeup.
That is such a humbling thought, and I think that of all this whole conversation is that how fragile life can be, and it can change in a heartbeat, and it changed for you in a heartbeat over a car accident. And I think if there's anything that we can take away from this conversation is that life is fragile, and we should be so grateful for these small and beautiful moments, connections, people, the journey. There is so much. I mean, I do talk about it with Phoebe all the time.
Yeah.
That the journey is what's important.
Yes.
Right? Not the size of the room, not the shoes, not the clothes, not any of it, you know. The journey of, okay, we want something nice, we aspire to get it, and we all have different goals and ambitions, but it's not the end result. It's these small, amazing moments. How are the children taking it?
They're actually just amazing. They're amazing.
You've raised them. I have no doubt that they're amazing. Like, really.
You know, I have a conversation with my therapist when I will say something and I say, I've realised this about myself and I'm really worried, so I don't want it to impact my children.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be talking about me in their therapy session in 15 years' time.
Yeah.
And he says, you don't need to worry because you're aware and you're working on it yourself. So you're doing the work for everyone before you in your family, and you're doing the work for your children after you. You're telling them that therapy is okay, that you can have signs on your wall that are affirmations. You can write beautiful I love you on the mirror so you look at it every morning. You're doing all the things that mean they are going to experience hardship. They probably will need therapy, in my opinion. Everyone does.
Yeah.
But it's probably not going to be related to something that you've actively done or chosen to do.
You've given them space and permission, whereas therapy was seen as something bad. You know, there's something wrong with you, you've got mental issues. When really, I've had therapy my whole life, it's been great. So, we've got this situation that's a ticking time bomb, but you're finding small moments and enjoying the journey. Tell me, you've got a few things that you're doing creatively. Tell me the future and what you're hoping for and your ambitions, and tell me what now?
So I'm going to just go back a tiny bit. 5 years ago in lockdown, one way that I dealt with that situation, lockdown for coronavirus, is I started a blog, and I kept it going and it got me through things. Every time I had a moment, an epiphany, an issue, I could just write it down because I didn't have the normal people to talk to that I would have spoke to. I then went back to work and that sort of went to the side and got put to the side. So in November or December last year, I thought I'm going to start it again. And I've now got a Substack where it's difficult because actually it's not difficult. It's amazing and it's beautiful and everyone needs to know this. I thought I needed to not do that until I knew what my niche was. You can only talk about being a mum. You can only talk about your experience in hospitality or as a part-time dance teacher, which is another thing that I do. And then I actually realised, no, I am the niche. My niche is no one's lived the same life as me and they never will. So if I want to talk about kids on one day, dance on another, and how a part of the brain works on the third, then I'm going to do it. Because otherwise, am I actually giving my gifts to people, or am I trying to give someone else's gifts that I know nothing about?
You are so right. I really needed to hear that this week. I can't tell you. Honestly,
You're one of those people.
I'm one of those
Look at all the gifts that you give out.
I'm
You're not in
those
one lane.
people. Everyone's forever telling me that I need to be in a box. I need to be either fashion or skincare. But I'm so multifaceted. I am so multidimensional. There is no way you can put me in a box, in a niche.
Exactly.
You can't. You just can't. I try and I try and I try and I tried for years and I can't. Giving me permission today.
Yes.
Lyanne.
Good.
Yes, you've given me permission. Anyway, okay, so the blog.
Yeah,
The
so
niche.
with the blog, in one article, it can go from a really deep title to a really funny bit, because I do have my cheeky funny side.
Yeah.
And then it ends with a mantra of something that I've done or something that I think you should do or try that might help you. And really, I just want to do that and be me. I'm kind of in the space in between at the minute because I'm not back at my full-time job. And this is something that I can do however I feel. I can sit down and I can do this. I don't need to be active physically.
Yeah. Do you connect with the people that read the blog? How do you go about finding people that will subscribe to your blog? How do you do that?
To be honest, I haven't pushed it much, and that's where my knowledge gap is. Ultimately, I do want... There's 2 books that I want to write and I want to work on them more.
Okay.
I would love to have a column somewhere. I think that is kind of what my blog is, like a column.
Okay.
And I've had a few people say to me, I've never finished a chapter in a book, but I go through a 15-minute read of yours and want more.
Oh,
so that's really encouraging.
Oh, that's exciting.
Really encouraging.
That's exciting. So the way I guess you would get people to flow through to your Substack is platforms like Instagram and TikTok. Are you on TikTok?
From a week ago, yes.
Yes, good, good. So maybe tell everyone what your Instagram handle is, so we make sure that we follow Lyanne, please.
Yeah, so it's literally at Mum Mantra.
Mum Mantra.
All one word.
Everyone must follow you. Everyone must follow you and hear your amazing story. Carry on. What's next? What's next? So books. You want to write a book?
I want to write books. I want to be a podcast guest. I want to raise awareness for situations that I went through in my previous relationship.
Yes.
But I'll do that once I'm divorced. I want to raise awareness for brain aneurysms, vertebral artery dissections, which I'm sure no one's ever heard about.
No.
And just my story is my offering. And I want people to know, if you just keep resisting things that need to be done either for yourself or to heal, they'll persist until you stop, listen, and you do it.
Yes.
Do it for yourself and do it with integrity to yourself.
Yes.
Because if you're in a situation like I was many a times, in the dark, in a hospital room on my own, not able to do anything, having to press a bell, waiting for someone to even bring me something that was 2 foot away, you need to have your mind in check. You'll always have your mind with you. So if you can control that, you can control everything else around you, and it can just fly off while you keep this force field of what you need. And a recovery board helped me whilst I was in there. It's a thing I made up.
Okay.
It's basically an A3 piece of paper. I put pictures on of all my loved ones. I put my favourite quotes. I made a playlist of my affirmations, and I said to my mum, make sure that's by my hospital bed when I come out of ICU, and can you play my affirmations in my ear in the morning, because I really think that's going to help. And I have a visualization board, which, just slightly go into that. Have you heard of the yellow car game? Have your kids ever played that with you? No, okay. I wrote a blog on it the other day. The kids will go to you in the car. If they see a yellow car, tap you on the arm, no return.
Okay.
So the object is you have to find a yellow car. Whoever sees it first is the winner.
Okay.
She did this, but apparently there's a Mini Cooper version.
Okay.
She said, Mini, and hit me on the arm. Then for the rest of that journey, and for about 3 days, all I saw was Minis.
Yeah.
And then I had an epiphany. She literally has made me focus on Mini Coopers, and now all I can see is Mini Coopers.
Yes.
So this is how visualization works.
Yes.
I was writing down and focusing on the fact that I wanted to become a podcast guest. I think your profile came up from a reel, and then I ended up seeing applications for podcast guests, And here we are today. If you tunnel vision what you want, your mind will filter out everything else, and you'll start to see all these opportunities that you couldn't see before because you weren't thinking about them.
You're so right.
Test it with something random.
Okay.
Lemons.
Honestly, this chat was beyond anything I could have imagined. And honestly, I'm so grateful that you've come so far to come and sit and talk to me about your incredible journey. Honestly, it's blown me away. I haven't cried yet. This is my first one. I cried.
But you needed to get it out, so
I
it's
need
good.
to get it out.
And then you've
honestly
gone creative.
I think it's because you've touched a nerve, and that is having humbleness and being so grateful when others are struggling. And there's so much more that I got from this conversation. But I just want to say thank you. That was truly incredible, and I can't wait to read your blog. I'm going to subscribe.
Thank you so much.
I really hope you enjoyed that episode. Lyanne touched my heart in a matter of half an hour. Please make sure to go and find her on Instagram, subscribe to her Substack. She is such an inspiring woman, and I can't wait to see her journey evolve. See you on the next episode.